I just got back from 6 days completely off grid. No phone, no bank account, no title, no Ty Rising, the guy with the YouTube channel. Just me and 11 other men in the middle of nowhere in California. And I want to tell you something before I tell you anything else about what happened there, because I think it's the most important thing in this whole video. Most men go their entire lives without ever being in a room where they can't perform their way out, where the money doesn't impress anyone, where the title doesn't matter, where there's nowhere to hide and no one letting you hide. I just spent 6 days in that room, and I want to tell you exactly what happened in there and why I think this might be one of the most important things a man can do for himself, his family, and his legacy that he's trying to build. When was the last time you were in a room with other men where you couldn't perform, where you actually had to just be there? If you can't think of one, stay with me. That's exactly what this video is about. So here's what happened. I went to a retreat called Spirit of a Man. It's run by a guy named Josh Macin. And I want to tell you a little bit about him and his team, because this isn't a guy I just met. This isn't the retreat I found scrolling one day. Josh's team has actually been a part of my own healing story. You guys know the collapse I went through, the mold illness, losing 30 pounds, my body completely breaking down on me. What I haven't told you yet is that working with Josh's team has actually been part of my healing for the past year. Not a one-time experience, a full year of working with them as a real part of how I got my body and my mind back. And Josh's own story is the big reason why I trusted that work in the first place. He was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, Pan-American champion. By every outside measure, I guess the guy had it together. Championship titles, a good career, a whole picture. And then his body completely fell apart. Years of illness, panic, depression. He spent years and a small fortune trying to find his way back. Doctors, healers, you name it, before he finally found what actually worked and rebuilt himself from the inside out. So when I say I trust this work, I'm not talking about a weekend experience I tried once for the content. I'm talking about a team that walked with me through one of the hardest stretches of my life. This retreat was going back to people who've already been part of putting me back together to go deeper. So I packed the bag and I left my phone behind and just went. Okay, so what does 6 days like this actually look like? No phone, no alcohol, no substances of any kind. That was a non-negotiable going in. Just you and a circle of men and nowhere to perform your way out. There's a piece of this work I'd like to call the dojo, and I mean that literally and figuratively. A space where your money, your job title, your accomplishments, none of it matters. The only thing that matters is how you actually show up right there under real pressure in front of real other men. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's uncomfortable. You can't think your way through it. You can't talk your way out of it. Whatever you've been hiding, whatever you perform to keep people from seeing, it surfaces fast. Now, just notice as I describe this, no judgment, just awareness. Is there a part of you that's a little afraid of a room like that? That is worth paying attention to. There was also deep breath work, and I wanna be honest with you, this was a part that cracked something open in me. It's an intense, activating kind of breath work that gets past your thinking mind completely. Stuff that's been locked in your body for years. Fear, grief, anger. You didn't even know you were still carrying. It comes up somatically, not as an idea, as a felt experience in your actual body. I've talked on this channel before about how the body keeps a score of what we never let ourselves feel. This was me living that, not just teaching it. And then there was this thing I'd like to call vision work. Slowing down enough to actually hear your own gut again. Most of us have had that instinct trained out of us by years of noise, screens, and even proving ourselves. Getting quiet enough for long enough to hear it again. And that's its own kind of medicine. 6 days, no escape hatch, just men doing the work in front of each other. So check it out. Here's the group. 12 of us total, plus Josh and his team facilitating. That's me on the right side, and then that's Josh in the middle. I want you to look at the other guys in this photo for a second, because this is part of what I want you to take away from this video. This wasn't a room of guys who had their lives together looking for a vacation. This was a room of driven men. Some who've built successful careers already, some who are early in their journey, all of us. That reason being to stop performing, to get honest, to do the work that doesn't happen by accident. And here's what I want to say to you directly. The men in this room weren't there because their lives were falling apart. Some of the most successful guys in that room were the ones doing the deepest work, because success on paper was never the thing they actually needed. These guys are going through the same exact things that you might be going through. And for me personally, going back to this team wasn't nostalgia. For the last year, working with Josh's team has been a real part of getting my body back from the mold illness. Not just a supplemental protocol or a diet change, getting my actual nervous system and what I was carrying emotionally out of survival mode. A full year of that work, this retreat was a continuation of it, not a one-time experience. I spent years now in residential settings with troubled young men through my own program, through this channel, and I will tell you plainly, I've never seen a man heal a deep wound, physical or emotional, entirely on his own, in isolation, scrolling through content alone on his couch. Healing in isolation has a ceiling. I hit that ceiling years ago. Going back into a room like this reminded me why. So here's what I really want you to take from this. Beyond the retreat itself, beyond Josh, beyond any of the specifics, you need men around you who will not let you hide. Not men who just agree with you, not men who just talk sports and work and nothing real. Men who can look at you and say, I see what you're doing right there. I see what you're doing right now. I see the performance. Drop it. I'm not going anywhere. That is rare, and it is one of the most powerful things in the world when you find it. And here's the truth, and I've said this before on this channel. Your father may have been the first man who was supposed to give you that. And for a lot of us, that didn't happen the way it needed to. So we learned to do everything alone, to prove ourselves alone, to carry it alone. And 6 days off grid with 11 other men reminded me that was never supposed to be the way. We are wired for this, for circles of men, for real witnessing, for being met fully without having to earn anything first. This isn't about needing a $10,000 retreat to heal. It's about understanding that the men around you, or the lack thereof, is either accelerating your growth or quietly capping it. So ask yourself, who in your life can actually see you? Not the performance, but you. If the answer is nobody right now, that's not a failure. That's just information, and it's exactly the kind of thing we work together on. I came back from this retreat more convinced than ever that the work I do here, the work I do with men one-on-one, matters, because most men are not going to fly across the country to sit in a circle and do deep breath work with strangers, and they don't have to do it. But every man needs some version of this, a space, a man, or a few men who still actually see him. If anything in this video landed for you, if you felt that quiet recognition of, I don't have that, or I need that, I want to invite you to do something small but real. I have a 15-minute call, no pitch, no pressure, just honest conversation about where you're at and whether I can help you find that for yourself. The link is in the description below. Go ahead and grab a time that works best for you. This is the kind of work I believe in enough to keep going back to year after year and keep paying for it myself. I think it's worth 15 minutes of your time to find out what it could look like for yourself. This is what we do here. We heal, we grow, we rise together. I'm Ty Rising. It's been a pleasure. If it is to be, it's up to you.